Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I found this last week, and I think it's fitting to put on the program this morning. Whatever feelings you have within you are attracting your tomorrows. Worry attracts more worry. Anxiety attracts more anxiety. Unhappiness attracts more unhappiness. And dissatisfaction attracts more dissatisfaction. And on the other hand, joy attracts more joy. Happiness attracts more happiness. Peace attracts more peace. And gratitude attracts more gratitude. And kindness attracts more kindness. Love attracts more love. It all makes sense. Your job is an inside one. To change the world, all you have to do is change the way you feel inside. How easy is that? Well, I'd like to change having this cold, and I'm going to make this the last day, I hope. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Monday. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning on this program. There are no crying closets for the wimps, so if you're that kind of a person, you're listening to the wrong kind of a program. Morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on. And, of course, many of our great advertisers represented by Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done. Hey, listen, call back in a little bit because I know I've got some stories to raise your ire. All right, buddy. Thank you very much. And right now, let's go to the weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by really great friends of ours, and that's K&R Rental at 256 South 600 west of Hayburn. And they're right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them. Hey, they've got everything to get ready for spring, your power rakes and your rototillers and your post-hole diggers. They've got it all for you to finish any kind of a construction project. You better get a hold of them today. Really good folks at 678-3122. K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. We'll tell you more right after the weather.
Looks like rain showers and thunderstorms, at least for the next couple of days, but as we hit midweek towards the weekend, maybe some sunshine. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting a 20% chance of rain showers for today, mostly in the afternoon hours. Plus, it's going to be windy out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour, gust possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 55 tonight. 30% chance of rain showers, mostly before midnight. Mostly cloudy skies. The breeze is going to stick around. Hopefully that's going to be decreasing after midnight with a low right near 39. For tomorrow, a slight chance of rain showers, then some possible thunderstorms by the afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 58. For Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 64 as we look closer towards the weekend. 70 for Thursday, 75 for Friday, and probably 75 for Saturday. That is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow, sounds good. Thank you, Gina, and we appreciate it. Brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway, and they offer the best of rental tools and equipment for both long and short term. K&R Rental. Right now, let's have this good word over at the studio. Wheels for Brad Little.
Can we trust Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist? When Obama and Pelosi were trying to grab our guns, Ahlquist was one of the Democrats' top donors in Idaho. Tommy Ahlquist is so liberal, he wouldn't even vote for Donald Trump over Hillary. Now Ahlquist wants to be governor. His plan? Raise taxes on everything, from farm equipment to haircuts. Top Democrat donor. Didn't vote for President Trump. Tax raiser. Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist can't be trusted.
Brad Little is a third-generation Idaho rancher who isn't afraid to stand up and fight for our conservative values. Brad Little is pro-life, pro-traditional marriage, and pro-Second Amendment. Brad Little believes in less government, lower taxes, and more freedom. Brad Little is the conservative champion we can trust. A rancher, a conservative, a courageous leader. Brad Little will be the strong governor Idaho families need. Paid for by Brad Little for Governor, Vicki Risch, Treasurer.
Thank you very much, and I want to remind you, during that commercial they were talking about gun control and gun grabbing. Well, if you read the paper yesterday, the illustrious Never Make a Mistake Times News, they featured on the front page of the paper a guy that is running for lieutenant governor on the Democratic ticket. His name is Jim Fabe from Sun Valley. I'm going to talk about him and some of his Twilight Zone ideas right after we do this commercial break. If you didn't read that story, find it, read it. It will scare you, believe me. Don't forget Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Oh, yeah, Kevin and Cindy and the whole crew. They want to urge you, don't throw those winter clothes in the closet or in the drawer and say, oh, I'll just wait and get them clean next fall. Well, next fall is here, and then all of a sudden you need them and they're not cleaned. Take care of them today. Stop in at the best, Daryl's Cleaners, at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. They will make sure everything comes back to you brand spanking new. They are the best at Daryl's Cleaners in Burley. We also want to highlight our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes, yes, they've been with us for a long time. For all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And the number to call, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. The very best serving you. Stop in. Give them a call. They've been in business for almost 60 years. Ramsey Heating and Electric. I don't know why I started reading this story on the front page of the paper yesterday, and I'm glad I did. When it comes to a couple of candidates that are probably not even close to being contenders, I didn't want to waste my time and effort, but I did start reading this story. It was entitled at the headline, Magic Valley Candidates Seek Government and Lieutenant Government Seats. Well, it looks like this guy by the name of Jim Fabe is a Democrat from Sun Valley who wants to win the lieutenant governorship of our state of Idaho. And a little background on this man. He is a solar energy farmer and a former U.S. Army major, and he spent the bulk of his career working as a dentist and financial consultant in Los Angeles. Now, there is an odd combination. And he regularly, according to the newspaper article, said he visited Sun Valley throughout his time. Well, he moved to Idaho last year, and he wants to have a new form of gun control. Now, if you didn't read the story, I think it's worthy of reading so that you do not check the box for his name. And I'm emphatic about that. No one should vote for this man, and I'll tell you why. His idea of gun control for the state of Idaho would be as follows, and I'm reading the quote from the newspaper story. Idaho, under Fabe's model, would not allow Idahoans younger than 30 and older than 60, they would not be allowed to own a gun. Remember, under 30 and over 60 would not be allowed to own a gun. He said, Fabe said, he believes this would decrease crime and lower Idaho's suicide rate. Well, I'd like to know how. And this is where the Times News, very slovenly and poor reporting, didn't go in depth and ask him how. How would this do that? You know, the easy question to ask only has 3 letters. How? And why under 30 and older 60? Seniors should have no right to protect themselves or their property, and it's going to decrease crime. There again, how? And there were no answers. It's easy to come out with blatant statements, and statements that all of a sudden just kind of blow up in your face, but why and how? And there was no explanation. But why, especially for those 60 years in age of older, why? Why are we being singled out? Why are we supposedly not able to have a firearm? Why can't we go hunting? Why can't we protect our homes? Why at 60 are we a discardable item? Why? And how? This Jim Fabe absolutely does not deserve not one single check mark next to his name. He is a lily pad that is, quite frankly, a kook. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You have to call these people what they are. They are absolutely coming out of left field without paying for a ticket, and all they got is a bag of popcorn. And this guy, why and how, under 30 and over 60, oh, no, you can't have the Second Amendment. Oh, no, you can't have a gun. I want you folks to call in that may be over 60 or under 30 and explain that to me. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley. We were over there last Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Punch, and a good time was had by all. It always is. Thomas was there, and he came in and said hello to everybody, and oh my goodness, wonderful, wonderful people serving everyone. Food fantastic, and they're always there to serve you breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time. Also, they have another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, and it's true, they are America's diner. You stop in and see those really, really good people today. Denny's Restaurant. Come on, give me a call, 436-2244. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget Kevin Williams wants your vote May 15th. Kevin Williams running for State Representative, District 27. Kevin is pro-Second Amendment. He is also a pro-teacher support of education, and he is very supportive of our police and ag economy. Fresh new ideas for a stronger, more productive Idaho, paid for by Kevin Williams for State Representative, District 27. Kevin Williams, Treasurer. And while we have a quick second here, don't forget to Leonard Beck wants your vote on May 15th to be your District 1 Cassia County Commissioner. Leonard will be your voice for economic growth, protecting property rights, and helping promote education and job opportunities for our youth. Leonard Beck, a lifelong resident of Cassia County, wants to be a strong voice for you. Vote Leonard Beck for Cassia County Commissioner May 15th, paid for by the committee to elect Leonard Beck, District 1 Cassia County Commissioner. Devon Rucker, Treasurer. Caller, good morning. Thank you.
Zeb, how we doing?
I am pretty good, except for a real bad cold, old buddy.
Hey, they complain about the older generation, but there's one thing about the older generation. They've grew up with guns. They know how to handle them. It just proves that a lot of this California stuff we're seeing more and more. They come in here and want to shove this down our throat that we should be like California, and we're not. You know.
Well, now you're in between right now. I'm assuming that you're probably pretty close to 40, aren't you?
Zeb.
Oh, my gosh, where did the time go? You're getting old like me. But no, how do you like, and what he also wants to do, listen to this part of it, he wants to establish, in his opinion, a militia of that group of age brackets that fall between 30 and 59, and those are the only ones that can have access to guns. It kind of sounds like kind of a Gestapo police force, but I'm well over 60 years of age, and I dare say nobody is going to take my gun away.
I agree with you. You know, I think us as citizens, we need to be the militia to maintain the government control that's coming towards us, you know.
Yeah.
More and more stuff's coming towards us.
Well, you know, I urge you, when you see his name on the ballot as a potential lieutenant governor candidate, pass by it. Do not make an X. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Let him go to jail on the get jail card free card. So thank you very much for your call. How are we coming in up there today?
Great. That's what I was going to tell you. It's coming in great.
All right. Well, thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Appreciate it.
You too, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice family. I know all the family members, and they are super good folks. Calls. What are your thoughts about? Here's this guy that I'm still stuck on one part of the story. He was a dentist and a financial consultant. You got to draw the lines there. I find some interesting things that we could talk about there. But he said that he drew his inspiration for his platform from several years of living in Europe. Oh, good. What a success they are. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't always look to other states. Don't always look to other areas that may have the do-do-do-do-do-do-do. They are also right here in our area. Want to remind you about a really good place. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. And that's Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Yes, living at home has many risks for seniors living alone. And whether it's the loneliness and the isolation or the safety hazards or not eating properly, you know, or maybe missing your medication, all of this and more. So please, check out Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living that offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Call them today at 677-8212. Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Caller, I'm a-coming. Hang on. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody, too, about Dino's Septic Service in Rupert. You know, really, they're busy, and you know why they're busy is because they're so doggone good. Fast, fair, friendly service. They're really taking care of you, getting all your septic tanks pumped and your sewer and sink drain lines clean and septic inspections and liquid waste removal, all of this and more. Hey, give them a call. Rupert, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Fast, fair, friendly service with that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. Call them right now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Good morning, Phil.
Hello, my friend.
Sounding better.
What's that?
You're sounding a lot better.
I wished I felt like it. I can't get rid of this doggone cough, and now my lovely bride is also suffering from the same malady. So wish her well.
I certainly do. She is a sweetheart.
Yes, she is. What can I do for you this morning?
Well, I didn't take the paper, so I didn't know about this till you brought it up, but it sounds like this guy wants to be everything.
Well,
He wants to be a dentist. Evidently, he failed at that.
Well, I'm not going to. No. Let's not say anything like that because that's speculation. We don't know if he failed as a dentist or a financial consultant. We don't know that, and I won't speculate. I'm also offering right now only opinions on his complete la-la land attitude, especially where he said his idea for gun control for Idaho would be no one younger than 30 and no one older than 60 would be, here's the key word, allowed to own a gun. Well, I'd like to see Mr. Fabe try to pass that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But, in that Sun Valley area, Haley, where there's a lot of wonderful people that live there, they've been infiltrated from these California rejects, and they've all moved in and everything. And a good example of that is, once a month I go to an eye doctor in Twin Falls, and they're always very busy. And so in the lobby there, I always talk to just about anybody or everybody. And the people I talk to from Haley are usually older. All the people there are usually older, but they have the California values. And you really can't hold an intelligent conversation.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Keith, I'm not trying to pick at you, but we can't lump everybody into the same kind of coal. When you say California values, there's a lot of people in California away from L.A., away from Sacramento, away from San Francisco, and they could be in the towns and areas of Red Bluff or Clovis or Fresno or Bakersfield, and they've got some real conservative values that are overshadowed by the nuts that live there in the bigger cities.
Well, that's certainly true, but the ones that come up here usually have wealth.
Yep.
If they go to Haley.
Yep.
And they want to control everyone else.
I think you've touched on it right there, is that the Democratic platform is nothing more than we know better than you because we're elitists. Why, we've made our millions being a dentist or a financial consultant, and now we've moved up here to your state, and we know more than you, so we're going to tell you what to do. I think you've kind of nailed it right there. Yeah,
and last night at that correspondence dinner that they had for there in Washington, D.C., they say they only gathered up $100,000 in donations.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
3,000 people left.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little later on. I'm going to talk about that.
$100,000?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little later on. Right now, I got to get some bills paid. Thank you for your call. Call back. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
You got to cough. Every now and then, if you hear a little dead air, it's because I have to cough. I can't get rid of this thing. I have not tried my last resort medicine, and I'm going to do that tonight. Yes, I am. And to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley with Nick Greenwell, and all the fantastic physical therapists really know their job, and they can help you get back to being you. Whether you're recouping from an accident or surgery or whatever, they can help you. And they've also got the only one of its kind in the area hydrotherapy pool to serve you. And serve is the key word. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, and the number to call, 678-1191. 678-1191. Really good people. Okay, let me go down my list here. Also want to remind you, excuse me for the cough, May 15th, and we're talking about Tim Darrington. May 15th, re-elect Tim Darrington as Cassia County Commissioner, District 3. Tim knows that Cassia County has a lot to offer with its heritage and history, and he wants to help move the county forward. Tim Darrington has been very involved in updating county policy reimbursement and in updating Cassia software. Re-elect Tim Darrington as Cassia County Commissioner, District 3, May 15th, paid for by the Darrington for Committee, Darrington for Commissioner Committee, Gail Erickson, Treasurer. Thank you. You know what I'm going to do right now? And I'm going to give away a dozen cookies. And we do this every Monday to our friends at, of course, Sophie's Chatterbox. What a restaurant, what a bakery. Oh, it is phenomenal. And I urge you, now, if you're a first-time winner, to call in and try to answer the question. It's an easy one today. Most everybody has heard this man's name. And so we urge you to give us a call at 436-2244. Name the former and famous Chicago Cubs announcer with the big black high-framed glasses and always said, "Holy cow." What was the name of the Chicago Cubs announcer? He's passed away now, but he was well known with the great big horn-rimmed glasses and always said, "Holy cow." What was that man's name? And please give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587, and we'll give you a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox. What a bakery with all the wedding cakes and the pies and the cookies, and a great restaurant. Come on, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call quickly. While I'm waiting for your call, I also want to remind you about our dear friend, and if you get a good horse, you ride it. That's right. When you get a good representative, you keep him, and keep him working for you in District 27. That's, of course, Fred Wood, District 27 representative. Re-elect Fred Wood on May 15th, paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Westfall, Treasurer. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Is it Vince Scully?
No, it is not, but thank you for the try. I appreciate that. Not Vince Scully. Come on, call back. Who was... And he was famous all over the world. They did cartoon caricatures of him, and he was known all over the entire world as being the voice of the Chicago Cubs. And he had the big, dark, horn-rimmed glasses, and he always said, "Holy cow!" That was kind of his trademark. What was his name? What was his name? As a matter of fact, they've got a great big kind of I don't want to see, kind of a bronze of him at the stadium itself. And he's pretty well known. Give us a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a jingle. Idaho needs no Nini. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I'll be right there. Idaho needs no Nini. Bob Nunini for Lieutenant Governor. Vote May 15th for proven effective conservative leadership. Bob Nunini has 25 years' experience in local and state Republican politics, and he believes in quality, affordable health care, parental choice in education, and he wants to create a positive business climate with limited government involvement. Vote for Bob Nunini for Lieutenant Governor on May 15th, paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nonini, Lieutenant Governor, and the Treasurer, R. Scott Hogue. Caller, good morning.
Harry Carabina.
Say, you better pick the right name. I'm not going to let you get by without picking the right name, the last name. Say it right, and I'll give you the cookies if you say it right.
I don't know how to say Carabina?
No. I can't give it to you. I'd love to, but it's not the right name. I'm sorry. You're
known as Harry Carey.
All right, stop. You said it. Don't elaborate on it. Harry Carey. Okay. What's your name?
Tammy Estes.
Tammy Estes?
Yep.
All right. Well, if you get sugar cookies over there with no frosting, you got to share half of them with me, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. God bless you. Call them and let them know when you'll be in to pick up your cookies, all right?
Okay. Okay, thanks.
All right, Tammy Estes. And she said it. I just absolutely had to stop her before she kept elaborating on it and said the wrong name. Harry Carey. And I had a chance. I met him a long time ago. I met him just nothing more than a handshake. But a very interesting man. Very interesting man. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. So in other words, before I go any further, I want to urge you that if you go to the polls on May 15th, do not vote for. I'm telling you not to vote for somebody today. This guy by the name of Jim Fabe, a Democrat from Sun Valley. Oh, he's out there, I think, saddling his horse in La La Land someplace. Anyway, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd like to hear from you. While I'm waiting for your call, I also want to remind you about Berry Equipment and Rentals, sales, service, and parts at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And they also have another place at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls and also in Nampa. All the best of equipment sales and retail equipment rentals. Thank you very much. My mind has a cold, too. And don't forget, they've got all the Walker mowers. Ooh, you can mow like the pros with those great big Walker mowers. Look out. Get the job done. Stop in and see them today at Berry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and in Nampa. Really, really good people. Let's see what else have we got in the news. I didn't even really want to talk about this next story because I watched a lot of it unfold on the news, and I thought, how low can a person go in attacking another person that absolutely is not in the forum or space to get up and defend themselves? I'm talking about the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday evening, and I'm not going to give this woman's name that calls herself a comedian. I'm not going to give her any publicity. I'm not going to give her any merit. All I'm going to do is just give her absolutely a black mark that I hope will signify that her career is over. But she stood up at the podium. She was hired by the committee at the White House Correspondents' Dinner to be the quote-unquote visitor guest with the entertainment. Well, she is a very cheap so-called comedian, and she blasted and tortured Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It was not funny at any point or at any stage of her comments. It was pathetic. It was making fun of Sarah Huckabee Sanders' looks. It was making fun of her size. Personally, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a very pleasant woman. And her dad, of course, the former governor of Arkansas, absolutely must be just irate as to how his daughter has been treated in the news media. They absolutely, through this comedian, they ripped Sarah Huckabee Sanders over the coals, and this lady, Sarah Sanders, sat there 5 feet away and took it with class. I could not have handled that. I don't think anybody should have handled the F-bomb laced verbiage that was so filthy that many people got up and walked out, including Max Schlapp and his wife. They walked out of the place. There's correspondence you can see every day on the news, and they said it was so filthy with her language and so derogatory they didn't want to be a part of it, and they got up and walked out. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah. You know, this Oh, it's hard to describe her. You know, you judge people by their looks sometimes, and she looked like she was going to be scary. But anyway, when it came to talking about the president's press secretary, Kellyanne Conway.
Kellyanne Conway.
Conway.
Yes.
And she said, if a tree fell in the forest, all we could do is hope it fell on Kellyanne Conway. What a vicious, vicious thing to say about anybody.
Well, the whole gist, I'm not going to go into all the different quotations and remarks because I don't want to give it any furtherance. But I will say this, that I hope this woman's career is over. Unfortunately, the left, like the Jimmy Kimmels of the world, they thought it was funny. You know, why is it funny today? Let me ask you a question. I want a short answer on this, Keith. Why is it funny today to have these profanity-laced so-called humorists stand up there and absolutely look stupid and act stupid and say stupid things? Years ago, comedy was funny because of its own merit. They didn't have to rely upon filthy language.
Well, I agree with you there. And the way the President of the United States is treated by these people is very, very disgraceful, and they shouldn't even be allowed to walk the streets.
Well, I'll turn this around for the entire audience this morning, and if someone today on the right made fun of Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton in the same vein as to these attacks that took place at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night, I guarantee you the earth would stop turning and the left would just have a howl like a wolf at the moon. They wouldn't know when to quit.
You know, it's all right to be wealthy, but you can be wealthy and you can be generous, or you can be an absolute jerk. And I'd say a good portion of those people there at that Correspondents' Dinner are jerks. They think they know everything, like I've elaborated on before. When a person gets money, all of a sudden they get smarter.
Yeah. Keith, I always appreciate your calls. I got to run and do a commercial, but thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. You know, one thing I want to add to what Keith and I were talking about just a moment ago is that the left thinks and knows they can get away with this. This so-called woman comedian, who's not funny, I do wish that her career is over, and possibly she may be applying for a job at Walmart. I don't know. But I would love to see somebody, and I know you're going to take offense at this, audience, but it has to happen sooner or later. When you attack someone like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and it's not the first time the left has gone after her, and they've ridiculed her, they have mocked her, it's okay to say something about your job or the duties of your job and whether you're doing your job. But to go after somebody on a personal attack, whether it is their looks, whether it's some kind of a physical attribute or whatever, that's out of bounds. That's out of bounds. And I've had to suffer through that sometimes myself, but I don't have the personality to sit and take it. And quite frankly, and here's where you folks might not agree with me, I would have been very, very satisfied if Sarah Huckabee would have stood up and walked to the podium and knocked this worthless comedian right in the mouth. Personal attacks like this, sooner or later, have got to be stymied. We've lost a sense of humor in this country, and now the left, all they do is just degrade. Let's have a weather forecast on here right now, sponsored by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Yes, it's true. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and they can help you with all your hearing health. That's right. Regardless of the ages of the family members, all ages will benefit. So please call for an appointment today at 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's the weather.
Looks like rain showers and thunderstorms at least for the next couple of days, but as we hit midweek towards the weekend, maybe some sunshine. Here's your weather forecast for us at the ranch. We are expecting a 20% chance of rain showers for today, mostly in the afternoon hours. Plus, it's going to be windy out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour, gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 55 tonight. 30% chance of rain showers, mostly before midnight. Mostly cloudy skies. The breeze is going to stick around. Hopefully, that's going to be decreasing after midnight with the low right near 39. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain showers, then some possible thunderstorms by the afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 58. For Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 64 as we look closer towards the weekend. 70 for Thursday, 75 for Friday, and probably 75 for Saturday. That is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Range.
And thank you very much, Gina. Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And, of course, great, great people. Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell serving you. You can trust your hearing health to Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Call for an appointment, 312-0957. Calls are welcome and appreciated, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, could we please have that good word for Representative Fred Wood?
Re-elect Representative Fred Wood, District 27. Here's Fred's views on health care.
Zeb, the American healthcare system is not sustainable because it is too expensive. I will continue funding more primary care residency positions to increase access to primary and preventive care. I will also continue to explore ways to decrease the cost of pharmaceutical drugs, a primary driver of healthcare costs. We must reduce healthcare costs.
Vote May 15th. Representative Fred Wood, District 27, paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Westfall, Treasurer.
All right, thank you very much. What about, let's talk a little bit this morning, and we need to, about the demanding illegal aliens on our southern border that are climbing our fence right now and gesturing to our citizens and our law enforcement, and demanding that we take them in. They are sitting on our border wall telling us they are coming in here regardless of whether the law says yes or no. Really? Well, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I say no. I am not going to be having the heartstrings played like a harp with that CBS reporter that was on the news at 8 o'clock prior to my coming on the air. Oh, the little children. Oh, why those in poor health. Wait a minute. They shouldn't have been brought out of their homes in South or Central America all the way through Mexico. And did you notice how these people are dressed? They've all got brand new sport clothes on, brand new Nikes, brand new caps, brand new shirts, shorts, etc. They look like a high fashion parade, and they're sitting on the border demanding that they come in here to this country? No. Turn the hoses on them, whatever, but they're not going to demand to come in here and go underneath your money and mine. No. Now, I don't know why we kowtow and weaken to these thugs that make demands, but we do. And I'm looking for my audience to stand up and say their feelings on this morning, because we're being told, yes, you will take them. Yes, you will accept them. Why? They've broken the law, or they are attempting to break the law. And don't play the heartstrings with me. If everything was so bad, why did they make this extremely long journey with their children or those that are sick or whatever, which I don't believe, in the first place? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. No asylum whatsoever. Representative Clark Kaufman, a Filer area farmer and small businessman, is running for re-election for state representative in District 25B. Kaufman has leadership experience with multiple statewide organizations and received the Wayne Meyer Leadership Idaho Agriculture Statesman Award in 2018. He encourages you to register and vote for Clark Kaufman on May 15th, paid for by Kaufman for Idaho State Representative, District 25, Seat B, Debbie Kaufman, Treasurer. Good man. We're going to have him on the air. What day is that anyway? Thursday. He's going to be on the program. Looking forward to it. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Please, I'd like to hear from you. And just about the time you run out of things to worry about, the University of Texas, listen carefully to this. It just shows how completely goofy our society is becoming. The University of Texas is going to start treating masculinity as a mental health issue. Men, the program argues, suffer when they are told to act like a man. And they say that it's too much pressure to put on men to tell them that they should fulfill traditional gender roles, such as being, oh my, how dangerous is this, as telling them to be successful or to be the breadwinner. And they say that by telling people to act like a man, be like a man, act like John Wayne, that we are developing problems with their emotional security. Oh, my gosh. Somebody got to give me a call on this, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I heard a voice in my ear from the station. Does somebody want to come on and say something this morning? Well, there was a lady's voice that came through on my headset, and I didn't know if you were having a private conversation with your girlfriend or what was happening there for a moment.
I'm not sure. Maybe she's trying to get a hold of me through you.
I doubt that seriously. Okay. Thank you, Wheels. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The trouble we have to, it just goes in accordance with this other story down at the University of Utah. They've opened up crying closets for the millennials. The tests are too hard. I can't take it anymore. I got to go into this closet and cry. What in the heck is the matter here? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I think a lot of people have got their head in the sand. They don't understand what's happening with this armada of undocumented insurgents coming into this country. Once they get here, they'll never leave. They will start occupying and get another 5 years or so. They're going to overwhelm this country with population.
Well, it's kind of the old multiply factor. If 10 come, you're looking at 10 times 10, and 100 will be here. And then pretty soon 1,000. And then the list goes on and on and on because they know they can get away with it. Now, I don't care if they turn the fire hoses on them or what, to blow them off the top of that wall. Get them out, get them away, and tell them to go home. That is enough. My milk of human kindness is not in the refrigerator.
You know, this wealthy Hollywood bunch, correct me if I'm wrong on what I'm going to say. During the French Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution, weren't the wealthy people targets?
Okay, make your point. Go ahead, Tony.
Okay. When the people start overpopulation, the wealthy Hollywood bunch, wealthy Hollywood bunch is going to find themselves under attack by these people who they just can't seem to get enough of them in this country.
You know, I think your point's well taken, that sooner or later enough of the riffraff will come in and demand, oh, well, wait a minute, Sean Penn, you make X amount of millions a year, so we're here and we want you to pay for it. Is that basically the premise that you're working on here?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're going to see that. I mean, what the left is doing, I think, is building up a segment of population that's going to turn on them, and we've already seen some of the turning, if you will, and I think it's going to be the dog that's going to come back and bite the owner pretty quick.
Well, we're in big trouble, Zeb, and the people like us have got to stick together.
Well, believe me, I'm not going to weaken. I do not want these people here. I'll go on record. A lot of talk show hosts are so mashed potatoes and milk and cream, they can't make up their mind which side of the fence they stand on. You know where I stand. Turn the hoses on them, blow them off the top of the wall, tell them to go home. We are not going to pay the bills. Tony, God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
I'll supply the hoses.
All right, thank you. We've got to pay some bills here with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, with a great big spring into spring tire sale. That's right, all the tires, boy, for your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers. Oh, get them now for your safe spring and summer driving on sale. Save you a lot of money. Great service at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Stop in and see them today. Also, the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. Oh, yeah. See Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. Let's have this good word right now, Wheels, for Tommy Ahlquist, and then roll us up to CBS News. Well, finally, thank you, Paul, for running over. I appreciate that. Welcome back to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, we really appreciate all their efforts in a big spring tire sale. And then also, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We've got plenty to do right now. Let's hear this word from our friends at Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Waste Services, my goodness, yes, they're always at your disposal. Call them today at 734-6969. Don't forget, they can help you with the weekly pickup of your garbage. It's gone, it's out of there. All you need to do is call the number and get on the route service. 734-6969. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's have this good word for Brad Little.
Can you trust Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist? When Obama and Pelosi were trying to grab our guns, Ahlquist was one of the Democrats' top donors in Idaho. Tommy Ahlquist is so liberal, he wouldn't even vote for Donald Trump over Hillary. Now Ahlquist wants to be governor. His plan? Raise taxes on everything, from farm equipment to haircuts. Top Democrat donor. Didn't vote for President Trump. Tax raiser. Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist can't be trusted.
Brad Little is a third-generation Idaho rancher who isn't afraid to stand up and fight for our conservative values. Brad Little is pro-life, pro-traditional marriage, and pro-Second Amendment. Brad Little believes in less government, lower taxes, and more freedom. Brad Little is the conservative champion we can trust. A rancher, a conservative, a courageous leader. Brad Little will be the strong governor Idaho families need. Paid for by Brad Little for Governor, Vicki Risch, Treasurer.
Thank you very much. We're running a little late because of the long newscast at the top of the hour, so I want to also remind you, just a moment, we're going to have Frosty Woldridge on the program. Kent Searle wants your vote to become District 3 Cassia County Commissioner on May 15th. Kent Searle, a lifelong resident of Cassia County, has the experience of being a farmer and the service to you as an EMT and first responder, and has gained you trust, your trust, I should say, on the Ag Advisory Committee and the Gateway Powerline Committee. Kent Searle says, together we can make Cassia County even better. Kent Searle for District 3 Cassia County Commissioner, vote May 15th, Dan Gammon, Treasurer. And then also quickly another Jerome County Commissioner that wants your vote, and that's the re-election of Roger Morley, Jerome County Commissioner, District 3. Roger has always said, yes, we can when it comes to being pro-Jerome County. He understands local folks and local problems and wants to continue to work for Jerome County with a pro-jobs, pro-ag, pro-people attitude. Re-elect Roger Morley, District 3, Jerome County Commissioner on May 15th. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Roger Morley, Jerome County Commissioner, Lorraine Morley, Treasurer. Frosty, I am sorry. Our newsman went a little bit too long this morning, and I know you're late, but I appreciate you being on the program. How are you, my dear friend?
Well, thank you very much, Zeb. Just got back from Texas. Got to see a lot of what's happening in Texas. I actually traveled to El Paso, and it looks and sounds more like Mexico. Unbelievable air pollution. The yellow haze over El Paso is just unbelievable. Every breath you take in El Paso is just laden with poisons, and the air was a yellow-brown, and it was thick, and the traffic is unbelievable. And unfortunately, all of the hills around there are just covered in these makeshift houses. It's literally a giant slumland right there in El Paso, Texas. I'm really sad to have seen it because I had been there years ago. And so that was part of my investigation of what's going on along the border. I spent a lot of time on the Rio Grande and went quite a few hundred miles on the border to see what's happening to Texas. And let me tell you, folks, it's not good.
You know, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you saw it firsthand. And you've always given a fair report of what's going on the border. But over further west to California, my dear friend, we have these caravans that have climbed the wall, and they're demanding amnesty. They're demanding that we take them into this country. You know what my demand is? Turn on the fire hose and blow them off the top of that wall. I am fed up with being demanded that you and I, as citizens of this country, have to take them in and pay for them, and you know if we take them, much more will happen in the future.
Well, you are correct, Zeb. And as you all know, Obama allowed 65,000 children to cross our border illegally 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago. And then we are, of course, responsible for 65,000 children, their schooling, their medical care, the housing, certainly all the Social Security that they get, the free breakfasts and lunches at school, the clothing, you name it. And what is really even worse than that is that our Congress critters, that's your two senators and your House member there in Idaho, but also here in Colorado, certainly in California, they are the ones ultimately are, and as we talked about the anchor baby phenomenon of 350,000 anchor babies every year that is going on now for 40 years, none of our elected officials will step up and introduce laws to stop this extraordinary phenomenon of literally be invading our borders by all of these indigents from around the world, and they continue to bring in that extra 1 million of them every year, and of course the average of 500,000 illegals keep coming in, and so in the end, it's actually this Congress, this House of Representatives, other than a few members that are trying to stop it, like Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Stephen King of Iowa, and Peter King of New York, all of our representatives are doing absolutely nothing to stop this invasion.
Well, okay, what do we do about this situation? It's almost to the point in the media today, Frosty, and you know this is true, that if you or I or someone with the Trump administration or anybody else says, no, stop them at the border, turn them back. Oh, then they come out with these heartfelt, heart-wringing stories of, oh, but the poor children. Oh, but the poor elderly. I'm not going to pour a glass of the milk of human kindness anymore. I've had it. I think that right now our borders are so porous and we're absolutely on the verge of losing anything connected to keeping our sovereignty with those borders. Something has got to be done.
Well, sir, I interviewed several Border Patrol officers while I was down there, and they say nothing has changed. They're not getting any support. They're not getting any kind of added Border Patrol. Again, there is no effort to stop them. They still have the same layup areas that I checked the last time I was down there. They still have the buses coming in to pick them up. And in the end, we're not enforcing our laws. And in the end, even a president of the United States who's done a valiant effort to stop all of this importation of jihadists and Muslims into our country, he's being blocked by 3 or 4 federal judges at the lower level. And so as long as the American people are just going to sit by and watch this happen, you're going to continue to see your own community begin to not only change into this multicultural and diversity morass, you're going to see more homeless. You're going to, I got to tell you, the homeless, American homeless, they're on every corner of every city that I traveled to, and I traveled 3,000 miles in just the last 2 weeks. It is absolutely an abomination, but it all gets down to the fact that our current laws for employment, for housing, and for transportation, which is illegal, it costs an employer $2,000 per illegal and up to 5 years in prison. These laws are not being enforced, and that gets down to each one of our senators and House members that are not doing their jobs, and in fact, these judges that are stopping the president from doing his job. And as long as that continues, Zeb, we are going to see this invasion continue. And I would ask all of you to go to newswithviews.com. I have a series out. It's called, Fighting for Supremacy, and the 4 different tribes that are now really gaining tremendous power in our country. And literally, in El Paso, the Mexicans own El Paso. I mean, the TV stations are all in Spanish. The radio shows are all in Spanish. The poverty down there and the pollution is extraordinary, and yet no one's doing anything about it. Essentially, by birth rates and by immigration, Mexico is retaking many parts of the Southwest there, and they're certainly taking over El Paso.
Frosty, I must butt in here, if you'll pardon that phrase, and I've got to do a commercial break. But when we come back, I want you to describe to me not only what you saw, but also if you had the power, what would you do to change it or curb it starting today? Stay tuned. I'll be right with you. Stand by. Frosty Woldridge. Don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They are one great animal hospital, and they've been voted many, many times Minnecastia's best. Dr. Bill and the whole crew wants you to remember that your livestock need to be dewormed, and don't forget, too, your pets vaccinated for flies and ticks. All of this and so much more. Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Also, real fast, our thanks go out to Joel Heward. What a nice man. He was over at Lunch Bunch last week, and we really enjoyed having him there on behalf of Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, always treating you and your family with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Be sure and remember the name, Hanson Mortuary, and the number, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morris and Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Frosty, there's got to be somebody in politics today or in this administration that is going to step up to the plate and say, here's the answer. We've got to do something now before this country is absolutely inundated. What are the answers? What would you do?
Well, first of all, I would invite everyone, my Facebook page is Frosty Wooldridge, and you all know my email, frostyw@juno.com. I've tried to get on 60 Minutes. I've tried to get on NPR and PBS and certainly CNN and also Fox News and ABC, NBC, CBS for the last 20 years now. As long as I've spoken with you on this radio show, I send out packets to show all of the people at 60 Minutes what's coming. 100 million more immigrants into our country. We're adding 35 million people every 10 years. And no one understands the ramifications of that. And so I've put out press releases. If you want me to send you one of my press releases, you can then send it to all of those places. I've got the addresses on it. You can go to newswithviews.com. About 4 weeks ago, I had that press release. And the press release introduces me, but it also introduces a lot of other speakers to get out in front of the national media and say, this is what's coming. And these are all PhDs. These are people I work with every day. They're brilliant. They understand the ramifications of adding 140 million people, and 100 million of them will be immigrants, the sociological consequences. That is what we've got to do. It's got to be you and me, the American people, because I guarantee you, if we continue to sit by, and we are sitting by, watching it happening, and hoping that our Congress critters will do something, and they are not, it's got to be a groundswell to stop mass immigration into this country. You know I'm a clear and concise speaker. I'm very articulate. I will absolutely represent every American of every really race and ethnic group, because we Americans either stop this or we're not going to survive it and we'll become victims of it. But number one, if I had the power, I would rescind the 1965 Immigration Reform Act today. We do not need 1 million immigrants in this country every year. Another million, 100,000 every month. We don't and can't support it. I would absolutely enforce all of the employment laws that are now on the books, and that's it's 2774. You can go right down the line. It's illegal to hire an illegal alien. It's punishable by $2,000 per illegal hired. That means Marriott hotels and Tyson Chicken and Hormel Foods, all of the literally construction companies, Holiday Inns, McDonald's, Chipotle's, their CEOs would go to prison because they're breaking the law. Every landlord that offers an apartment to an illegal should absolutely be put in jail, prosecuted and put in jail. The same thing goes for the schooling. Why are we paying for literally 2 million foreign illegal alien children in our schools right now? That was a horrible decision 30 years ago by a judge to allow all of this just to go on, so they just embed themselves in our country. And then third, we need to build a wall. That wall would be paid for easily within a year, because we're buying $50 billion worth of drugs from Mexico every year, and Mexico's happy to sell the $50 billion. We have 115 people die every day from drug overdoses. Heroin addiction is out of this world. The only way to stop it is a wall or a fence or the Army down or the National Guard down on the border. It's 1,952 miles long, San Diego all the way to Brownsville. We need a wall, or we simply need a moat, or we need a fencing system. We need drones. We need to absolutely have authorities down there. I don't care how many patrols, how many National Guards and U.S. Border Patrol, I put them down there, because our kids are dying. Our kids are being overdosed. Our kids are sucking up heroin into their veins. We've got so many problems in this country right now, and they're going to continue to metastasize into every one of our communities. And I know Idaho is not going to be immune to any of this, neither is Washington State or Oregon. Look at the drug rates that are going on. That's all coming from Mexico, and it's coming because we're not doing anything about it. And so that's what I would do if I had the power to do it right now.
Absolutely. You know, when you were on the border and taking this tour with many of the people that you visited with, and I'm going to be really blunt, is it a lost cause? Have we lost the war? Or did they say there were glimmers of hope if certain things were done and certain items were addressed?
You know, the Border Patrol that I talked to said nothing's changed and they didn't expect anything to change. And again, I would agree with that. The CIS report by Dr. Stephen Camarada, whom I've literally worked with for 20 years, he has estimated through very articulate understandings and research, we're taking in 500,000 illegal aliens right now, this year. Another 500,000 will come in. 500,000 came in last year. Because, again, as I've told everyone for years, the third world adds 80 million new babies net gain every year. They're desperately poor. Mexico, at 114 million people, is headed for 135 million people by 2050. That's 32 years from now. And so unless there is a national groundswell of Americans calling and writing, in fact, I've got meetings with Cory Gardner, our senator. I've got one with Bennett here in the month of May, and saying, we can't do this. You have got to get involved. You cannot. This country, our constitutional republic, if we don't care for it as individuals, if we don't participate, then every program that I have been on with you for the last 15, almost 20 years now, it's going to mean nothing. We have literally every person listening today, I should get 1,000, 10,000 emails that you want to see that press release to get me on Tucker Carlson, on CNN. I'll interview with anybody, liberal, conservative, independent, because no one really understands what 100 million more people is going to do to this country. I'm telling you, it's going to be like the Titanic. It's going to sink the USS of America, and we're going to be the victims of this thing. I can't make it any clearer. I know every one of you listening knows exactly what I'm saying. I've got the facts to back it up. I've got a lifetime of experiences. And so get your fanny in gear, get on the phone, get all these emails out to all of these top radio and TV stations, and have the top people speak about what is going to happen to our country with another 100 million legal immigrants, not to mention another 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants, and the consequences to our sociological mix, the consequences to our culture, the consequences to our environment, our quality of life, our standard of living. I can't make it any clearer, but I will keep speaking up, and I'll certainly, if I get on TV, I'll say the same thing, and we have to start a national discussion on where we want our civilization to go and what we're going to hand over to our kids, Zeb. That's what I'm going to do. I need your help. You help me. You help your children. We can do this. I will never give up. I'm going to stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder with Zeb Bell and Deanne Bell, and we're going to change the course of history, but we've got to do it now. We can't wait until we become victims of it.
Amen. I cannot add one single word more to what you said because it was very eloquently done, and it's the truth. Frosty Woldridge, I'm sorry for the shortness on time this morning, but I absolutely appreciate your being on the program every Monday, and I cannot wait to finish reading all those different series. Thank you so much for being on the show.
God bless, Zeb, and thank you.
Thank you.
The series will shock you. It will sober you. It will scare the daylights out of you. It's pretty sad and sickening to see our entire successful civilization, our entire country, turn into everybody else's country and not our own country anymore.
Amen. Thank you, my dear friend. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Frosty Woolridge. I want to remind you, vote for Wayne Shank, Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1 on May 15th. Wayne has extensive agricultural and business savvy and has been involved with the Minidoka Highway District, Planning and Zoning, and the Minidoka School System. There's a great opportunity in Minidoka County for future planned growth, and Wayne Shank wants to help. Vote May 15th for Wayne Shank, Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1. Leadership and vision paid for by the committee to elect Wayne Shank, Stephanie Merrigan, Treasurer. And now, wheels this good word, please, for Bob Nonini.
Bob Nonini, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, a principled conservative, successful small business owner, legislator, and leader in Idaho. Bob Nonini has earned a 100% rating from the American Conservative Union and received an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association. Bob Nonini, Idaho roots, conservative values, proven results.
Hi, I'm Bob Nonini, and I'm passionate about becoming your next Lieutenant Governor. Being an Idaho native, I grew up understanding the values of hard work and dedication. I believe education is the key to growing Idaho's economy and being prepared to tackle the challenges of the future. Parents having the right to choose how they want to educate their children is crucial. Idaho needs strong leaders who allow their faith, experience, and integrity to do what is necessary in creating a better life for our residents. Experience matters. Experience counts. The choice is clear. Idaho needs Nonini on May 15th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nonini for Lieutenant Governor. R. Scott Hogue, Treasurer.
And don't forget Representative Clark Kaufman running for re-election for State Representative Seat District 25, Seat B. Kaufman believes in building consensus through common sense. He has voted to protect your Second Amendment rights, voted to promote fair and reasonable tax laws, and voted to create a business-friendly climate in Idaho. Vote Clark Kaufman on May 15th, paid for by Kaufman for Idaho State Representative, District 25, Seat B, Debbie Kaufman, Treasurer. And also, we want to remind you about State Representative Fred Wood. When you've got somebody of his caliber and his talent and his service to you, you make sure you retain him in office. Re-elect Fred Wood, District 27, on May 15th. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Kaufman, Treasurer. And we're going to be going to the phone line in just a moment. We're going to be finding out more from some of the people that are running for political office, so stand by for that. And I also want to remind you that tomorrow at 9:30 we have the wonderful Miss Vicky on the program with Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Oh my, every week she answers all your gardening questions right there for about 15 minutes on this program. Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And the number to call, 438-5663. You be listening and call in with your questions. While we have just a quick second, I also want to remind you about what's going on over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We've been telling you to spruce up for springtime. Well, I'll tell you what, they've got everything over there. I'm talking great big new shipments of carpeting and luxury vinyl planks and just absolutely all the flooring that you could possibly look for and all the different styles, colors. It's all there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And they've got an outstanding staff of people serving you over there. They know all about decorating your home. They can help. They will help. And they've got all the sofas and the love seats and the recliners, anything you need for your comfort at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those really, really nice folks today. We are, of course, in the middle of political season, and we've got a guest with us on the phone right now that is running for Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1 seat. Good morning, Wayne Shank. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, tell us a little bit about Wayne Shank and wanting to run for Minidoka County Commissioner. Give us the why first. Why do you want to assume that post?
Several reasons, Zeb. First of all, I want to go and give back to this fine community that has supported me and my family for all these years. I've been a lifelong resident. And the county's been good to me, and I'd like to go and continue to see the county move in a positive direction. And I'd like to go and take the years of experience and knowledge that I have of the county and the people in it to apply that to make it a better place for all of us moving forward.
Wayne, let me ask you this. Give us a little history on your background as far as what you've done for a living and your qualifications to run for county commissioner.
Yes, I've been a farmer all my life, also raised replacement heifers for dairymen, and also own several rental replexes that I go and rent out. And so I have that knowledge there. I've served in many capacities throughout my career here. Like I say, I farmed for 40 years. I was on the Minidoka County Highway Board as a director, so I got a good knowledge of how our highways are funded, how they are maintained and serviced. I also served on currently serving on the Minidoka County School Facilities Levy, or Skills Facilities Committee. I've been on that for many years. I was on that when we built the new Habern and Nasequa elementary schools, and continuing looking at the needs of our children as we go and look for facilities in the future as we're at capacity at the moment. I've also been on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and there again, my major thing about getting on that was to make sure that though we do need some guidelines and rules for building and zoning, we also need to protect private property rights, and so I needed to make sure that common sense was applied in those zoning applications that affect all of us.
Well, Wayne,
and I was in. You want me to stop or continue?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say a question right there. What absolutely do you feel as a county commissioner that you and your ideas or goals could help the county? What do you want to do for the county? What's basically your motivation?
Motivation is severalfold. One, I want to go and make sure that ag is continue to be represented on that Minidoka County Commission. Bob Moore, who's served there for over 11 years, has been our major tie to the ag community, and I'd like to see that continue to be represented. I also want to go and help us to grow responsibly so that we can continue to go and have opportunities for our citizens and their children and grandchildren to have good paying jobs here and jobs that they want to be trained for and to do. There's going to be a large turnover in people in offices. There's 4 of the 6 offices that are being run for this year that are going to have new people in them. We're going to have a new assessor. We're going to have a new treasurer. We're going to have a new clerk of the court and a new county commissioner. So I want to be able to go and have some continuity in the fact that people who know this county and know what it needs and what the people would like.
Well, it sounds to me like you've got some goals and aspirations, and you were talking about private property rights. What do you feel has been an infringement on private property rights, and what kind of protections do you want to provide?
Well, that's one of the founding bases of our country is the right of private ownership. And while it is important that the neighbor next to you doesn't go and build something that devalues you or affects your quality of life, that shouldn't be to the point that it doesn't allow you to go and do what you prefer to do with your property. And we've seen that often, that the regulations and stipulations will force you not to be able to do what you would like to do, or that you have to go through so many loopholes as far as rezoning or special use permits or whatever, that it becomes cost prohibitive or time prohibitive in order to go and move forward with the plans that you have with your personal property. So those are the areas that need to be looked at, and to make sure that they are using common sense, that they're not leaning one way, too far one way, or too far the other way.
Now, when you look at the overall scope of Minidoka County, Wayne, as to where it's been, where it is now, and looking into possibly a projected crystal ball into the future, what do you want? What do you see? What do you feel are needed items for Minidoka County to grow and succeed?
Well, as you look at people who want to go and move here, people who want to go and businesses that want to move here, there are three things that they very much look at when they initially come here. They look at the infrastructure. Do we have the roads, the sewer systems, the water systems, the gas lines and so forth that they need to go and develop their businesses? And do we have the schools? Do we have quality schools for their employees, for their children, and for their future employees that they'll be hiring out of those schools? Do we have that quality education in place? And do we have the quality of life that people want to hear, to come and enjoy? Of course, that's one of our major selling points of our quality of life here in southern Idaho, with the recreation that we can enjoy. With an hour drive, you can get to any type of recreation that you possibly could want. But moving forward, we need to go and make sure that these cities, that the county helps these cities, Haber, Paul, Rupert, Minidoka, Sequoia, all of them go and be able to go and increase their capabilities to have more sewer, more water, more electrical systems, so that they'll be ready for the businesses to move into here, and have the zoning appropriately so that the businesses can build without having to go through a rezoning or a special use process. We need to go, and we have three major corridors that we need to look at and plan for and develop for, and that's coming from off of the interstate, from Burley into Paul, from Habern into Rupert, and from the KOA exit on in. Those are major areas that we need to develop and to go and use to our advantage to grow Minidoka County.
What about the schools? Let's talk a little bit about the school systems and the future of education over in Minidoka County. I know that you've been connected to the school system. Give us some thoughts on that.
Yes, school systems are in good shape. Of course, there are needs there that we need to address moving forward. We have good teachers, we have good administration, and we have, for the most part, good buildings. But our buildings, in several cases, are getting older, and also our capacity is at max. We need to build. We have some bonds that are coming due in the next 3 to 4 years that will allow us to do some major building if the citizens would go and pass a bond, and to alleviate and to address that overcrowding moving forward. And there is a meeting on May 11th, I believe it is. I have to look now, I can't remember now. But there's a town hall meeting to go on at the Minico High School to go and have the public input on what type of building we need to build, whether it be elementary, junior high, high school, and the needs to address that overcrowding. And it's only if we go and move forward and build to address that we can continue to have quality education. We need to go and look at having more tech classes, more interaction with the businesses around here, that they come and tell us what kind of class they need, even bringing in an instructor. Amalgamated currently has brought an instructor over to the schools and has a boiler classroom that the kids are going through, and when they qualify through that classroom, then they can get a good paying job out at Amalgamated in repairing and upgrading their boilers. And so that's the type of interaction we need on the tech side with our businesses. You tell us what we need and help us go and train the people for your needs.
You know, I'm going to say this, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, Wayne, because I think education made a big mistake for many, many years in pushing college as a cure-all for all students, when in essence they overlooked the trade schools, be it electricians, be it plumbers, whatever. Now we've got a severe deficit in those numbers, and somehow in a short period of time we're going to need more people coming out of the trade and tech schools. I think you agree.
Oh, most definitely. The trade schools need to have the same emphasis as the four-year degree colleges and universities. They have just as much, many people would prefer to build things with their hands, repair things with their hands, as those that would like to go and be in business or doctors or lawyers or whatever it may be. And we need to honor and respect and encourage that. And there again, some of the regulations, the amount of time to take and get certified to be an electrician, certified to be a plumber and stuff, it becomes cost prohibitive or time consuming to the point that people drop out before they make it through that. Those type of things need to go and be looked at so the kids that want to go that route can get there without being overly burdened.
Well, I'm going to give you some time right now to sit back and just tell the audience why they should vote for you, Wayne Shank, for Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1. Go ahead, and this is a great time for you to just say, hey, I get to tell about myself. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I'd have to say my biggest asset is my wife. Many of you might know Alice. Lovely woman and a special partner for me. I have 3 kids. They grew up here, went through the school systems, got a good education. Like I say, I want to serve. I want to go and give back to this community. I've served in many different areas on the FSA, the Farm Service Agency Board, and through the Wilson Theater and through my church. I just have a desire to, at this point in my life and career, to go and take all the things I know about Minidoka County, all the people I know in Minidoka County, and put that to good use to help Minidoka County grow and be a place that continues to have our rural roots and have the ability to go and be a blessing to all of us as we move forward.
Well, we wish you a lot of luck and success on May 15th. Wayne Shank for Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1. And Wayne, thank you for coming on the program this morning. I learned more about you. It was nice to meet you on the air. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb, and thank you for all that you do for the community and the voice you have for our way of life.
Well, thank you, sir, and the best wishes to you in the election. Thank you very much. Nice man right there, Wayne Shank, running for Minidoka County Commissioner, District 1. And right now, I also want to remind you, oh my goodness sakes, I got a whole bunch of things I've got to get done in a hurry. We were thrown off our time frame at the top of the hour, and we're trying to catch up. Let's not forget our friends at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4, and they've got all the 4x4s. They've got all the side-by-sides. They've got everything over there, and all the accessories. You want to go four-wheeling? Well, hey, this is the place to start, right there at Let's Ride. Don't forget, and the best doggone service department around. Ready to serve you at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24. Like I said, between Rupert and the World, and it's true. This is where the fun is sold. Absolutely. Let's not forget, to our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more as they serve you. They're dedicated and responsive to your needs and very accessible. All you need to do is just make a call, make an appointment, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Wonderful professionals that are helping you, your family, and your business. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert. Really good folks to work with. We are, at this time, going to listen to the weather forecast. But first of all, Wheels has got this good word for Representative Fred Wood.
Integrity serving you. Re-elect District 27 Representative Fred Wood on May 15th. Fred has protected the economic value of Idaho's water. Fred has worked diligently to increase education funding and higher teacher salaries. Fred has stood firm for tax cuts and low taxes with a small, efficient government. Re-elect Fred Wood. District 27 on May 15th. It's true. Integrity serving you. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Westfall, Treasurer.
Right now, we've got to get a weather forecast on here real quick. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company sponsoring our weather. And they would like to thank all the customers for a great tax season. And believe me, they thank you, but we really should be thanking them. Excellent people working to serve you, your family, and your business. And if you have any questions about your taxes, give them a call or go see one of their partners. Excellent people serving you in both Burley and Rupert. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's the weather forecast.
Looks like rain showers and thunderstorms, at least for the next couple of days, but as we hit midweek towards the weekend, maybe some sunshine. Here's your weather forecast for Zev at the Ranch. We are expecting a 20% chance of rain showers for today, mostly in the afternoon hours. Plus, it's going to be windy out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour, gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 55 tonight. 30% chance of rain showers, mostly before midnight. Mostly cloudy skies. The breeze is going to stick around. Hopefully that's going to be decreasing after midnight with the low right near 39. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain showers, then some possible thunderstorms by the afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 58. For Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 64. And as we look closer towards the weekend, 70 for Thursday, 75 for Friday, and probably 75 for Saturday. That is your weather forecast for Zev at the Ranch.
And I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you. Brought to everybody by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. The best of CPAs serving you as they have been for well over 50 years in this area. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company with offices in Burley and Rupert. The best serving you. All righty. Don't forget, too, Ben Crouch wants your vote to become Jerome County District 1 Commissioner in Jerome County. Ben Crouch says it's time for a fresh approach in Jerome County leadership, and he's the man for the job. Ben has the business knowledge and the ability to solve problems, and his decisive leadership will help Jerome County. Vote for Ben Crouch, Jerome County District 1 Commissioner on May 15th, paid for by the committee to elect Ben Crouch Treasurer. Finally, I got a little time where I can take a phone call or two. Give me a jingle on the landline. I would love to visit with you for just a few moments, so give us a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I wasn't kidding earlier this morning. There was a story that came out Friday that said that the University of Utah has developed some crying closets. Yeah, in case the tests are too hard, and in case the rigors of college life are just making life almost unbearable. They've got those crying closets so that you can knock on the door, and if no one is in there, you can open the door and then shut it, and then you can go in and you can wail and boo-hoo and cry until you feel better. College life, of course, is so much tougher than it used to be. And all the rigors of college, why, it's just so demanding, why, they just can't take it. This is just one more sick, perverted reason why I get so down on the millennials in our society today, because they're being raised to be a bunch of wusses. Wusses! What's it gonna be like when you get out in the real world there, bunkie? What about the boss that says you didn't do this right and you've got exactly an hour to correct the problem? Oh, that's pressure, or you may be out of a job, or don't you care? And they can't take college life, and the tests are so hard that they've got to go into a closet that I'm sure was paid for possibly by many and most taxpayers' dollars, supportive of that college. This is insane. crying closets, and then the questioning of masculinity at the University of Texas. Really, when you think about it, you can't make this garbage up. Our society needs to go back to the basics. Men and women, right and wrong. Hey, grow up. Act with a John Wayne attitude if you're a man, and act like a real feminine, nice lady if you're a female. It's not that hard. But we're warping all the issues with the idiocy from the left. And that's what it is complete idiocy. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Please give me a call. Oh, and by the way, congratulations go out to a Riggins High School graduate that played football for Boise State University and played it well. Leighton Vander Esch, an outstanding football player, and he is living proof that you can go to a real small school and have real success and be noticed with your abilities and your gumption and your go-for-it attitude. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. Woo! I understand the people up in Riggins, they were just absolutely throw in a party and having a good time celebrating one of their own. Excuse me for that cough. Leighton Vander Esch, Boise State Bronco, now playing for the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody seems to think he is going to be a real primetime player for the Dallas Cowboys. I hope so. Coming up next hour, we have John O'Neill with a new book called The Fisherman's Tomb, and I'm really anxious to hear about that book. And then at 10:30, we're going to be talking to an old stalwart of ours, Richard Manning, about the Democratic National Committee and some of the not-so-honest procedures that they've been involved in. We're going to have that coming up, and we urge you to stay with us now as we have this word coming up for Tommy Alquist. And then Wheels is going to take us up to CBS News. Welcome back. Hour number 3 already on a coughing-filled Monday. Can't get rid of this cold. Now my lovely wife has got it. Oh, my goodness. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and a big spring tire sale going on right now. And also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, without further ado, let's have this good word for Brad Little.
Can we trust Boise developer Tommy Alquist? When Obama and Pelosi were trying to grab our guns, Alquist was one of the Democrats' top donors in Idaho. Tommy Alquist is so liberal, he wouldn't even vote for Donald Trump over Hillary. Now Alquist wants to be governor. His plan? Raise taxes on everything, from farm equipment to haircuts. Top Democrat donor. Didn't vote for President Trump. Tax raiser. Boise developer Tommy Alquist can't be trusted.
Brad Little is a third-generation Idaho rancher who isn't afraid to stand up and fight for our conservative values. Brad Little is pro-life, pro-traditional marriage, and pro-Second Amendment. Brad Little believes in less government, lower taxes, and more freedom. Brad Little is the conservative champion we can trust. A rancher, a conservative, a courageous leader. Brad Little will be the strong governor Idaho families need. Paid for by Brad Little for Governor, Vicki Risch, Treasurer.
And thank you very much. As I also want to remind you, State Representative Scott Bedke, District 27, Position A, Speaker of the House, urges you to go vote in the primaries on May 15th. Don't forget, Scott is very concerned for Idaho and its growth and prosperity, and he urges you to exercise your patriotic duty and go vote. Don't forget, Scott Bedke, State Representative, District 27, Position A, and that's paid for by Representative Scott Bedke of Oakley, Sarah Bedke, Treasurer. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I have been waiting to talk to this gentleman ever since I booked this segment about a week ago, and I can't wait to find out more about his book. It's a New York Times best-selling author, and this book sounds like a home run, called The Fisherman's Tomb. Good morning, John O'Neill. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. It's an honor to be on your show.
Well, John, I'll tell you right up front, I'm sorry I've got a really hard cold, and if I have to cough every now and then, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but give us kind of a thumbnail sketch about this book with the intriguing title, The Fisherman's Tomb. Give us, where did it come from, and what's it basically about?
In the 1930s, one of the wealthiest men in the world was a Texas oil man named George Strait, and he gave all of his money away secretly, the equivalent today of much more than $1 billion, and he gave an awful lot of it to projects of Pope Pius. In 1940, a priest appeared at his house in Houston and asked him whether he would be willing to finance the most secret and most important project of the Catholic Church. Said that if he did that, no one would ever know he was involved. The project could totally fail, and it would be kept absolutely secret. He agreed to do that, and the priest, whose name was Walter Carroll, it's all completely true and documented. The priest said, look, we were burying Pope Pius XI under the Vatican, and in the course of burying him, a workman fell 20-some feet into a huge room full of Roman murals. Next to the room, we found the tomb of late first, early second century tomb of a Christian woman. And Pope Pius XII wants to know, was St. Peter actually buried under the Vatican? So the book is the story of that long excavation over 75 years. Originally, and it's an amazing story, when the explorers started looking, that what they found was a whole succession of immense Roman family tombs buried under the Vatican by Constantine when he built the original St. Peter's around 300 A.D., but they didn't find the tomb of Peter. When they went in further, and at the dead center of the Vatican, they found a monument erected by Christians in the first century to Peter's memory, but still no Peter. They found some bones close to it. This is 1950, which they identified as possibly being Peter's. The Pope brought in a woman, an astounding woman, named Margarita Garducci, who was agnostic, but was the greatest archaeologist of the 20th century. She told the Pope, everything's been fouled up. You need to decrypt all the inscriptions that have been found. You need to examine forensically the bones that have been found, and you need most of all to preserve and copy all the murals that have been found. The Pope fired all the priests involved from the excavation, amazingly, this is 1950, at the Vatican, and placed her in charge. For the next 25 years, Garducci decrypted the inscriptions. She located she first tested the bones that had been found. They were the bones of a woman, not a man. They were not Peter's. And so it was announced. She found a wall that is plumb bobbed down from the center of the Vatican. And on that wall were 20 different prayers to Peter with the familiar, using in code the key symbol, the keys to the kingdom. And finally she found the words, Peter is near, and another, Peter is within. She learned that there had been bones inside that wall that had been located and sent to storage. She brought them out of storage. She had them tested by a whole series of forensic anthropologists and other scientists. They were the bones of a 60 to 70-year-old man who had been crucified upside down. His feet were cut off, and there were nail marks. They were wrapped in a purple cloth, obviously by Christians putting them in there, which could have happened no later in the middle of the 3rd century. The bones had previously been under that marker called Diocese Trophy. And so there was tremendous evidence, including architectural evidence and a lot else, that was Peter. And Pope Paul, in 1966, declared it was Peter's. It was Peter. And
and she wrote a book about it and so on. In 1977, after Paul's death, the excavators who had been fired by Paul in sort of a Vatican intrigue fired Garducci, who had worked there 25 years, and put the bones back in storage. Garducci spent the rest of her life fighting for the authenticity of her find, most famously at a debate in 1990 in Milan. The moderator of the debate was a man named Francisco Zetti. He was the head of Sotheby Europe and the greatest expert in Roman antiquities in the world. At the end of the debate, he stood up, even though he was the moderator, and he said, Margarita, I'm an agnostic. I don't believe in Christianity, but I followed your work, and there's absolutely no question you found Peter. So scientific opinion began to run in favor of Garducci. He made some other remarkable discoveries. She died, and recently, Pope Francis, after examination, tremendous amount of additional testing, in front of a crowd of 7,000, declared that those were the bones of Peter. And in fact, there's irrefutable scientific evidence that they are and were. In addition, she found inscriptions around those carved by Christians in the 1st and 2nd centuries that incorporate much of the things that Christians believe about today, proving that the Christians at that time believed almost exactly the same stuff we believe now.
Wow. I'm sitting here and I'm just absolutely mesmerized, I guess, by what you're talking about and the story. But how did you get involved? John, what was your motivation? What did you turn over or turn up that wanted you, John O'Neill, to get involved and say, hey, I'm going to write a book about this? What was the motivating factor there?
Well, I wrote a bestseller that sold 1 million copies in 2004 and swore that I would never write another book.
I'm gonna interrupt for a minute. Wheels, you've got to turn him up a little bit more. Thank you.
The Vatican with a great writer named Michael Novak, who actually showed me the wall and so on. I became very interested in it, and I knew the children of George Strait, and I learned of his connection to it. I began to look at it, and I began to research, and I realized most people don't know at all that Peter actually was there. He was actually located. The naysayers that say he never went to Rome or that he didn't exist. In fact, you can just go there on what's called the Fabe tour right now. It's hard to get on. You have to write the Vatican 3 months in advance, but you can actually go and see the exact wall that he's in, the inscriptions that I've described, and some of the greatest Roman statuary and mosaics and murals in the world. So I realized, to me, that this was just something everyone needed to know about. They needed to know about Peter, and as importantly, they needed to know about those inscriptions around him, because the attack on Christianity has been that it was just sort of invented after the fact. Yet these inscriptions, which are encoded with things like a key or Tyro for Christ's name, line to a T for a Roman cross, line to redemption, or line to resurrection, show that the Christians at the very earliest days believed in exactly the same stuff that we believe today.
John,
so the theory that it was just an evolving cult, it dies right there on those inscriptions under the Vatican.
John, I know you're on a cell phone, and I'm going to ask you, please, to speak directly into the mouthpiece. On occasion, it fades in and out. I need you to be turned up a little bit. We don't want to lose anything here. My next question would be this. Why, in your opinion, is there such a sinister approach or a negativity against finding out more information? Why are there those people that would like not to find out any more of the truths of the disciples and that time of Christ's walk on the earth?
It's basically a secular blockade. It's people that are simply, I guess, rooted in a completely secular approach and are unwilling to consider any evidence on the other side. They're happy to live with the myth that all these folks were like Santa Claus, when in fact they are real. They really existed, and in Peter's case, he really died.
from being crucified upside down by Nero, can actually go and see his actual physical relics. So it's a shut mind theory. It extends so far that the book that I've written is selling very, very well on Amazon, but Barnes & Noble will not carry it in bookstores, even in Houston,
Wow.
where this book is a huge bestseller. And explaining the mentality, I don't understand it. It's so narrow-minded, it's really a shame.
John,
the book is not a political book, one way or the other. It simply sets forth the evidence.
you said something a little earlier I'd like you to elaborate on just a little bit more. I have said on my program for many years, yes, there is an attack on Christianity. Yes, there is a diminishment of the value of the Bible and all the prophecies. Yes, there is an attack on churches. And I think you will agree, this seems to fall right in lockstep with what you're saying.
Well, it's as if they're afraid of the truth, Deb. That's a shame, isn't it? Of course, religious people have been afraid of the truth too sometimes. But we live in a particular world right now where the seculars seem to be afraid completely of even the application of science, which is what's involved here, to actually get to the truth of what occurred. We know that Nero burned the center of Rome from the great Roman historian Tacitus. We know that he crucified any number of Christians. He hauled them up as torches, Tacitus says. He got little kids and put them in animal skins and had dogs tear them apart. That really happened in 66 AD. And one of them was Peter. And we know that from late first century, early second century accounts. And now we physically have the relics themselves. And still they won't listen and actually try their very best to embargo the information.
Now, John, let me ask you this question then in regards to your book, The Fisherman's Tomb. And I'm making an assumption here, and tell me if I'm wrong. Even though there's a beginning and an end to your book, there's really not an end per se to the story, because there's still many other stories and questions that we haven't found the answers to. Is that correct?
Absolutely. They're still excavating. For example, on Vatican Hill, they recently cleared an area for a parking lot, and lo and behold, there were more Roman tombs that no one knew existed there. And so the archaeology is still continuing on, as well as a great deal of scientific study on Vatican Hill and in other sites and locations. The way they were able to decrypt the inscriptions was by comparing the inscriptions under the Vatican to those that early Christians made in the Colosseum when they were prisoners and over in Asia Minor. So there's a good deal of scientific work going on all the time.
You know, the one question I have had, and I know this may sound really simplistic, John, but like in the case of Paul being incarcerated in the prisons and writing the letters that we read about all the time in the Bible, how did these letters how were they delivered? How was there a communication with the outside world? And there seemed to be a stymieing of trying to stop the Christians and their religion even at that day. How did they get the word out, like in Paul's case, to the various messages he wanted to the Corinthians and others?
Well, we know Paul got them out, of course, just in the case of 2 Timothy, just before his execution. And we know the way he got them out was through Luke, because he says that's who he's giving them to, the letter to Timothy.
Right.
How exactly Luke was able to make it into that terrible, terrible prison, we'll never know. It's the very same prison that Peter was in. And it is described by a lot of other Roman historians. It's where it was meant to mimic hell. That's literally why they built it, where it was in total darkness. How Luke found his way in there and got out with 2 Timothy, we'll never know, but it had to be an amazingly brave thing to go and do.
Let me ask you one final thought here this morning, John. When you were doing the research for this book, what happened during the research that opened your eyes up and you said, oh my goodness? Was there a point of information that really shocked you?
There were several. I was shocked by the story of Father Walter Tyrrell, who was the go-between with George Strait
who was involved in incredible activities in hiding Jewish battalions from the Nazis and doing many other things. I was shocked by the inscriptions that we recount in the Fisherman's Tomb. The inscriptions are just other faith. It's hard not to have faith if you read those inscriptions, and you know that these people who could have been killed at any time, who were within 400 yards of the emperor's palace, were carving this in stone for all time. So, to me, that was the thing that I found tremendously faith-enhancing. I'm a doubting Thomas, and so for all of us doubting Thomases, it's wonderful to have physical relics and to have actual inscriptions carved in stone.
When people buy your book and they finish it from chapter to the end, what is it that you would like them, the readers, to take away from your book and remember?
I'd like them to know that Peter really made it to Rome, that he gave his life because he believed in Christ, that he was killed by Nero for what he believed, and that he believed in it deeply enough to die, and that he was actually crucified upside down, that the people that believed in him were brave enough to get his body, bury it there, say prayers there, and actually carve in stone prayers for nearly 2 centuries, for any of which they could have been executed. Their families could have been seized, their property could have been taken, indeed many of them were. And so, to me, the lesson of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd century Christians is a message for all of us that we should remember when we're browsing about going to church on Sunday or doing the small things that we all do.
I want to urge you to come back on the program. I want to get a copy of this book. I want to read it in its entirety and then understand more about The Fisherman's Tomb, written by John O'Neill. John, I apologize for the cold. It's kind of limited me this morning, but thank you for coming on my program. Where can people find the book, The Fisherman's Tomb?
The best place to buy The Fisherman's Tomb is one of 2 places, on Amazon. They can also buy it from the publisher, osv.com, or they can buy it on the website, thefishermanstomb.com. Any of those 3. If they go to the website, thefishermanstomb.com, there are many pictures of what we're talking about there. Those are the 3 best places to buy the book, The Fisherman's Tomb.
Well, I wish you the best of success with this book. New York Times best-selling author John O'Neill with the book called The Fisherman's Tomb. John, please come back in the future. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning.
I'd love to come back, Seb. Thank you for having me.
God bless. Thank you very, very much. Very nice man. He's got me intrigued with this book. I cannot wait to get a copy and read that, called The Fisherman's Tomb. And it does solidify more of the Bible. Absolutely. Right now, I want you to remember that Ben Crouch is wanting your vote to become Jerome County District 1 County Commissioner. Ben Crouch says it's time for a fresh approach in Jerome County leadership, and he's the man for the job. Ben has the business knowledge and the ability to solve problems, and his decisive leadership will help Jerome County. Vote for Ben Crouch, Jerome County Commissioner, District 1, May 15th, paid for by the committee to elect Ben Crouch, Jerome County Commissioner, Ben Crouch, Treasurer. Also want to remind you, on Thursdays we have a segment called Cassia County School Days, and that's at 10:10 on Thursdays. And our thanks go out to 2 of the sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Great place to buy baby presents, and don't forget they've got the 5-piece boys suit starting at size 2 for just $52. Wow! I'll tell you what, and they've got all the Cherokee scrubs. They've got it all for you at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. For your outpatient surgeries, they can save you money. Whether it's tonsil surgery, whether it's life-saving colonoscopies, please give them a call and let them help you. Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland in Burley. The number to call, 677-8888. Along with The Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Really, really nice people. Wheels, at this time, could we please have the good word for Brad Little.
Can we trust Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist? When Obama and Pelosi were trying to grab our guns, Ahlquist was one of the Democrats' top donors in Idaho. Tommy Ahlquist is so liberal, he wouldn't even vote for Donald Trump over Hillary. Now Ahlquist wants to be governor. His plan? Raise taxes on everything, from farm equipment to haircuts. Top Democrat donor. Didn't vote for President Trump. Tax raiser. Boise developer Tommy Ahlquist can't be trusted.
Brad Little is a third-generation Idaho rancher who isn't afraid to stand up and fight for our conservative values. Brad Little is pro-life, pro-traditional marriage, and pro-Second Amendment. Brad Little believes in less government, lower taxes, and more freedom. Brad Little is the conservative champion we can trust. A rancher, a conservative, a courageous leader. Brad Little will be the strong governor Idaho families need. Paid for by Brad Little for Governor, Vicki Risch, Treasurer.
And don't forget our good friend Jim Patrick running for the state senate again, District 25. Jim says thank you to everybody that supported him in the past, and he's looking forward to working for you in the future. Get out and vote on May 15th, and don't forget Jim Patrick, state senate, District 25, a 40-year farmer and 20-year bank director. He really understands the issues that we face here in the state of Idaho. So he wants to continue the support and help you as his constituency. So don't forget, on May 15th, vote for Jim Patrick, State Senate, District 25, paid for by the Jim Patrick for Senator District 25 Committee. Thank you very much. Oh my, in just a moment, we're going to get all set to send this over to Wheels, but also I've got a couple of more words I want to share with you, and they are including Carl Hansen wants your vote May 15th to be your Minidoka County Commissioner. Carl has the leadership experience as a hospital CEO for 29 years, 18 of which were at Minidoka Hospital. He's an organizer and communicator, and Carl Hansen wants to address the challenges in Minidoka County and help solve them. Don't forget, Carl Hansen for Minidoka County Commissioner, and paid for by Jason Gibbons, Treasurer. Wheels, before we go any further, let's have this good word for Fred Wood, and then I'll let you have it at the bottom of the hour.
Re-elect Representative Fred Wood, District 27. Here's Fred's views on money and politics.
Zeb, 85% of Idaho citizens believe we should have more financial transparency and disclosure in our political system. As chairman of the Interim Committee on Campaign Finance Reform, I will continue to work tirelessly to bring real transparency and disclosure to money and politics in Idaho.
Vote May 15th. Representative Fred Wood, District 27, paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Westfall, Treasurer.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Welcome back. We're going to have a dear friend of ours on the program momentarily, Richard Manning, President of Americans for Limited Government. But first of all, here's this good word for Tommy Ahlquist.
Brad Little is desperate, unable to defend his record of raising your taxes and increasing his pay. Professional politician Brad Little is falsely attacking conservative outsider Tommy Ahlquist. The truth? Conservative business leader Dr. Tommy Ahlquist has new ideas and a fresh approach that will move us forward. Tommy Ahlquist will lower taxes, cut wasteful spending, create more jobs, and enact term limits on politicians elected statewide. Like President Donald Trump is changing Washington, conservative business leader Tommy Ahlquist will shake up the status quo. That's why Brad Little is making false negative attacks against conservative outsider Tommy Ahlquist. Professional politician Brad Little is losing his campaign for governor because he raised your taxes and increased his pay. But if Brad's false attacks continue, he'll lose his reputation too. Professional politicians Labrador and Little, 29 years is long enough. Paid for by Tommy for Idaho, Orville Thompson, Treasurer.
Right now, I have a chance to have a dear friend on this program. Every time he's been on the show, he always gives us a lot of insight and a lot of information. And I'm going to apologize to him just like I have everybody else. I'm sorry for the cold and not sounding real good. Richard Manning, President of Americans for Limited Government. How are you this morning? Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Zeb, and I've got a cold too, so we'll just fight through it together.
Anytime you have to hit the cough button, let me know, and then I'll cough at the same time, and we'll save a lot of time. How's that? Let me ask you a little bit about what's going on. You're the Impact Award winner, along with others that have won that award, like James O'Keefe and Sean Hannity, and you're fighting for American liberties. You must be at the end of your rope right now with what's happening to this administration and the foot dragging or knuckle dragging by the Democratic Party. Isn't that frustrating?
Well, it really is very frustrating. And it's equally frustrating that some on the Republican side aren't taking every measure necessary to ensure that things happen, like President Trump gets his nominees in place. I mean, we're looking at a president who's still, 14 months into his administration, still doesn't have his entire team in place in terms of his administration. It's absolutely beyond anybody's ability to fathom the level of obstruction that's occurred and the willingness of some of the Republicans in the Senate to allow it to occur. I mean, they need to put their foot down now and just start allowing people to confirming people en masse, and that's what they need to start doing. They need to start working weekends. They need to make the Democrats pay a real price for trying to stop nominees.
Well, let me ask you about that, because you said obstruction. You used that word. I've had it. I mean, I'm going to point my finger at both sides of the aisle, the Democrats and the Republicans. I honestly think there's a faction of Republicans that are still with their pity party, that they've got dirty diapers and they're crying like little babies because Trump won the election and they're not going to support him. And on the other side of the aisle, you've got the Democrats that are knuckle draggers and foot draggers. This whole thing is just tearing apart the American dream of success and becoming a better country. When are they going to wise up and shape up?
Well, bottom line is, if the voters keep sending these clowns back, that's what we get. But it's you're right. Your analysis is 100% correct. There is still a vestige of those on the Republican side who haven't gotten over the fact that President Trump won, continue to attack anybody who supported Trump as being somehow unclean. It's almost as if we're in this battle in Washington D.C. over who's more pure. And the irony is that the people who are the Republican side, who really hate Trump, have proven themselves to be wrong time and again. And wrong on everything. So not only were they wrong about Trump, they're just wrong in general.
Well, we just recently heard over the weekend, Richard, and you're the expert on this, you can elaborate on it, that there was no collusion. Well, big deal. We thought that for over a year, but now with all the money spent and the time and effort expended, now no collusion. But yet, what in the world with the Democratic Party? With the Hillary emails and the computers and everything, are they going to walk out of this thing scot-free as if they're headed to Sunday school? What's going on here?
Well, if they go to Sunday school, I might want to let them. But that's no. I don't think so, because the Attorney General's office has two separate investigations going related to these subjects. One's based in Little Rock, Arkansas. What we've learned in the subsequent last 3 months is that there was an investigation over things like Uranium One, which was the transfer of 20% of the U.S. uranium reserves to the Russians, in what appears to be a direct handoff based on the Clintons receiving a lot of cash, and I'm talking a lot of cash. $43 million in the Clinton Foundation worth of cash. So there appears to be an investigation going on that in Little Rock, Arkansas right now from the U.S. Attorney's Office. A lot of the other aspects are being handled through separate investigations based in Denver, Colorado. Why are those investigations based outside of Washington, D.C., and why are we not hearing about them? A, they're outside of D.C., so the swamp monsters of the D.C. Justice Department don't get a hold of them and can't influence them. And B, we don't hear about them because they're outside of D.C., so there's nobody leaking. And as a result, we won't hear anything until there's actions taken, which is the way it ought to be.
Richard?
So, no, I don't think they're going to walk away scot-free, and I think there's Jeff Sessions has essentially put people on the case, and they are investigating now.
Okay, you mentioned Jeff Sessions, and you know more about this than I do, but I'm just telling you my gut reaction to Jeff Sessions. I don't think he's strong enough. I don't think he's got a strong enough willed personality. I don't think he's the junkyard dog necessary to get this job done and investigated. Am I wrong?
Time will tell, but I think you're wrong, and I'll tell you why. Jeff Sessions could have walked away from this job, and President Trump made it clear that he was hoping he would. Jeff Sessions didn't walk away from this job, standing up to enormous pressure, which somebody without a firm commitment to what he's trying to get accomplished wouldn't do. Jeff Sessions has put in motion a whole series of events which have led to the former acting FBI director being in the direct line of fire and likely being going to be indicted as a result of lying to the FBI, which is the ultimate irony. And so we've got a whole series of these bad actors who've been identified who are now being lined up for prosecution, and that's because Jeff Sessions has sat there and he's just doggedly done it right. The problem we have with special counsels, and the special counsel we have right now in particular, is there's no rule of law with them. It's absolutely outside of any rule of law. They do anything to get a conviction, no matter how nefarious, no matter how underhanded, and as a result, it negates the whole system of justice that we depend upon, because everybody who's under suspicion by a special counsel is guilty until proven innocent, and that flies in the face of our entire system of jurisprudence. Jeff Sessions is trying to reestablish the concept that you're innocent until proven guilty, even if you're Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
And so they're going through the process. They're looking at things, and hopefully they'll come up with with results that the American people can look at and say, yeah, that seems like the right result.
Very well stated, Richard. Thank you. I appreciate that information. Now, over the last 8 months, at least 8 months, I've had a chance to talk to some people in various regions of our United States, Oregon being one of them, that was affiliated possibly with the Uranium One case. And a lot of people in the know have given me a wink and a nod and have said, you don't know the whole story, and when the real story comes out, it could be the origination of the major problems that the Clintons will suffer for the last time. What are your thoughts on some of those statements?
I have heard from some people as well who that this was about some of the challenges about uranium mines that didn't really have much uranium in them that got traded in exchange, that had the rights to export uranium. And their rights to export got shipped over to Uranium One, so we ended up with a U.S. uranium being shipped overseas, and everybody knew it was going to happen. It got formalized, from what I understand, it got formalized by putting a document together that allowed for the Uranium One shipments to go through a Tennessee uranium firm, and using their approval, their export approvals to do that. And so it seems as though there have been reports in the public domain. I don't know how. Nothing I've seen that's official, but reports in the public domain that uranium from the United States has made its way to Iran, has made its way to some of the worst actors in the world, and it's a real problem. So it's how it all plays out, I don't know, but I do know this. The group that approved it is called CFIUS, which is essentially CFIUS, and it's typically your Treasury. It is your Treasury Secretary, your Attorney General, Secretary of State. It's got a lot of its cabinet officials, and obviously with the Trump cabinet, you have a new CFIUS, and the group that's meeting now is doing things like stopping the Qualcomm company named Qualcomm which is really one of our top technological innovators in the United States, from being taken over by a Singapore-owned company, which was serving as a proxy for the Chinese. And so they've begun to really step up the game in terms of stopping the export of our technology, the export of our resources, of dangerous resources like uranium. And so they're taking their job much more seriously. And ironically, the Trump administration is very aggressively seeking to stop these kinds of sales, whereas the Obama administration clearly rubber-stamped the approval on Uranium One. And I think that we're going to find out it's a pretty bad deal of what they ended up doing. But I'll let the U.S. Attorney in Arkansas uncover that and hopefully give us some news on it that's not speculation, but is actually real hard news that we can take to the bank.
Richard, final thought here, though, regarding the Clintons, Hillary and Bill, and over the years, the Clinton machine and the Clinton power and the Clinton money. Simply put, I've talked to some people also that say there is a fear factor of not uncovering too much because it may not be great for your career or health. The Clintons still reign in power over a lot of people, and there's a fear factor. Would you agree with that?
I think it's reasonable to agree with that. They have wielded incredible power, and I think there's one thing that's true here, and we can just take to the bank. There's a reason why the U.S. Attorney in Little Rock, Arkansas, is looking at this. Okay, it's because he's somebody who's familiar with the entire Clinton network there in Little Rock, which is where it starts. And as a result, I think we're going to get good results. I've checked with people who know the U.S. Attorney and that's handling it, and they believe that he'll do an honest job. And these are people outside the government, just people in Little Rock who I know. And so I have reason to believe that he'll do a reasonably good job. He'll get to the bottom of what he can get to the bottom of. There's no doubt that the Clintons have been dangerous to work around. And you really don't want to be a former friend of Bill. And because you become a former friend of Bill, and there's some real concerns in that regard. I think they're legitimate, but when you get down to it, I think the U.S. Attorney in Little Rock, Arkansas, is the right guy to handle it. And in doing so, by getting it out of D.C., I think we've got a chance to get a fair and honest investigation.
All I'll say is this, Richard, tonight at 8 o'clock your time and then 8 o'clock my time, we ought to crack open a bottle of blackjack and try to get rid of this cold. What do you say?
You got me. You got it. I'm there.
Okay.
I should have done it yesterday.
President of the Americans for Limited Government, a good friend of this program. I always appreciate having him on the air. Richard Manning, God bless you, man. Take care of that cold. We'll talk to you soon, I hope. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
All righty. Richard Manning, and I have the utmost respect for his opinion, and he is a very honest straight shooter. And believe me, what I said earlier, the Impact Award that's given out very, very highly respected individuals. Sean Hannity has won it in the past, and Frank Gaffney and James O'Keefe, just to mention a few. But he's always working, fighting for American liberties. Richard Manning on our program. Wow, time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh my, the number to call, 324-7657, or go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. They absolutely have the most delicious of meats, whether it's prime ribs or smoked hams or bacons or breakfast sausages, all of this and much, much more at Scarrow's Meats. Right now, here's our weather.
Looks like rain showers and thunderstorms, at least for the next couple of days, but as we hit midweek towards the weekend, maybe some sunshine. Here's your weather forecast for Zev at the Ranch. We are expecting a 20% chance of rain showers for today, mostly in the afternoon hours. Plus, it's going to be windy out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour, gusts possible as high as 25 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 55 tonight. 30% chance of rain showers, mostly before midnight. Mostly cloudy skies. The breeze is going to stick around. Hopefully that's going to be decreasing after midnight with the low right near 39. For tomorrow, slight chance of rain showers, then some possible thunderstorms by the afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 58. For Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 64. And as we look closer towards the weekend, 70 for Thursday, 75 for Friday, and probably 75 for Saturday. That is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh my, it is true. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Wheels, I know you're always over there doing a great job. How about this good word for Fred Wood?
Re-elect Representative Fred Wood, District 27. Here's Fred's views on water.
Zeb, without water, Idaho as we know it would not exist. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of salmon versus power production. As a senior member of the House Resources Committee, I will do everything within my power to stop downstream interests from taking Idaho's water.
Vote May 15th. Representative Fred Wood, District 27, paid for by the committee to re-elect Fred Wood, Steve Westfall, Treasurer.
Thank you very much. Hey, there's going to be quite a happening this next weekend, and that's going to be on Saturday, May 5th. It's the Southern Idaho Living Expo. Where's it going to be? Well, it's going to be at Nature's Nursery and Market at 120 East Highway 30 in Burley, and it starts at 10 in the morning and goes till about 3 in the afternoon. Oh, my goodness, they're going to have all kinds of great things going on over there. They're going to have food demonstrations and gardening demonstration and grilling tips and all kinds of outdoor living and healthy habits. Oh, boy, don't miss this. It's put on by the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and there's no entry fee. All you need to do is show up. Absolutely. Southern Idaho Living Expo this coming Saturday, May 5th from 10 to 3 at Nature's Nursery and Market, 120 East Highway 30 in Burley. Going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely. And don't forget, too, Carl Hansen wants your vote May 15th to be your Minidoka County Commissioner. Carl has the leadership experience as a hospital CEO for 29 years, 18 of which were at Minidoka Hospital. He's an organizer and a communicator. Carl Hansen wants to address the challenges in Minidoka County and help solve them. Paid for by the Carl Hansen for Minidoka County Commission and Jason Gibbons, Treasurer. Thank you very much. Wow. We have busy times on our program, as we will have for the next couple of weeks leading up to our primaries on May 15th. Thank you very much. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to be visiting with Roger Morley from Jerome, and he's running for one of the seats in Jerome County and wants your vote as county commissioner. Vicky's going to be on the program, and then, of course, we're going to have Ben Crouch on the program. We've got all kinds of people coming on, and John Horvat's going to be on the program tomorrow. Very interesting, along with your calls, and we're looking forward to all the fun and frivolity on a Tuesday. Dr. History. And I want to mention this now. Dr. History is going to be off for the next 3 weeks. Don't get nervous. There's no cancellation. He's too good a friend, and he does such a wonderful job. But he said, listen, I want to kind of spend some time with the family, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So we're going to have segments that are going to be filled during those time slots on Tuesday. And we just want you to be aware that he's going to be off the air until about after the 15th. And then he's going to come back with a vengeance and have Dr. History every week. And if you want to listen to some of his programs, just go to that Dr. History website, and he's going to have a lot of programs prepared so you can still enjoy Dr. History that we tape right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Okay? Don't forget to roll in the spring with the big spring tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires for your driving needs. Whether you've got a car, a pickup, SUV, or you need tires on your horse trailer, your boat trailer, whatever it might be, they've got all the different tires, all the different tread designs, and many which are on sale. So stop in there today at any one of the 7 locations. And remember this too. The best of brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. They really provide a service for your safety. You stop in and check it out today. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely the best. Okay, now, let's see. In just a moment, we're going to send it back over to Wheels as we wrap things up for today. I want to urge you to tune in again tomorrow morning at 8:06. We'll ride the horse for 3 hours right here on Zeb at the Ranch until 11. And I always appreciate your phone calls. That first hour where we have kind of an open forum, I want you to get involved in the different stories that we're talking about and share your opinion with us, okay? All of that tomorrow on the program, and right now we're going to say, like we always do, the way things were or the way things ought to be. This good word for Tommy Ahlquist, and then my old itty-bitty buddy over there is going to take us up to CBS News. See you tomorrow morning.